What about losses? What is actually the importance of having losses in trading, and how can we learn from them? How can we become better with having losses?
Losses are actually very useful only if you're still going in the same process. If you're doing one thing, you have a loss, and then you flip to do something else, that loss is permanent. It's a waste. Nothing, you're not going to learn anything from it. But if you're on a path and then you have a loss here, you have a loss there, it's all part of the experience to get from here to here. For example, if you're in the restaurant business, right? And in the restaurant business, your job is to make sure your supply chain is good and you have to serve the customers and the customers are happy, right? Mm-hmm. So you're trying out different recipes and different ways to do everything to make all those three things perfect, right? And then you have losses on year one, losses in year two, and then you're like, okay, now I'm gonna go into a shoe store. Well, what about that restaurant loss? You didn't learn anything. So that becomes permanent. That's what I mean. So losses are very important because losses is like failures in life. They become the reason why you succeed. Mm-hmm. So it's the best teacher of life. So when you have those losses in the process, you have to spend a lot of time on what happened, what did I miss, how do I understand this thing? But you have to look at it from three different angles. One angle is based on my technique and my strategy. What did I do wrong in my research? Then the second thing is, what did I do wrong in my emotions? Was that right? Okay, because that's a whole separate entity on its own. Then a whole separate entity on its own. Did I enter with the right size and scale out and scale in with the right size? Money management is a whole different entity. So you have to look at a loss with three different lenses. So first, and don't mix them all at one shot. You got to do them all separately. So as you do them all separately, you get to understand a little bit more about yourself in terms of emotions. You get to learn a little bit more about yourself, because when your money management is like way off, it's like, why is it way off? Why am I in such a hurry to make so much money? Or why can't I increase my lot size? Why am I trading so small? What am I really afraid of? Mm-hmm. You get to learn more about yourself, of who you are as a person, because the strategy said everything was fine, even though it was a loss because of a tight stop loss, or you just entered a few candles way too early. Sometimes that's what the answer turns out to be, but then it tells you a lot about yourself. Now, as you go into the next trade, you have those mistakes that you've improved upon to move further, as long it's the same technique. Mm-hmm. If you're in the same route, then that losses is very important. If you keep changing the route, then the losses are permanent and you generally will not learn anything from it. Only thing you can do is tell other people about what a loss means. Mm-hmm. Because that's the only other thing left, is to talk to other people about, I had a loss here, it wasn't good, and this and that. But that's it. People just turn it into mentorship program or something like that, but that's it. It doesn't really do anything for you.
Yeah, I think that's come to the topic of stay consistent. Continue to follow that same plan or the way that you're looking at the market, and stay consistent instead of jumping from one strategy to another. Yeah, that's one important point, to stay consistent and doing post-analysis.
Yeah.
That's the reason why we suggest so much our students to do post-analysis. Do your post-analysis, that's how you're going to learn.
Correct. So the methodology is important, then the losses are a gift, and then your post-analysis makes you better than you can be. And this three combination, just year after year, you'll be progressing at a very fast pace compared to someone who's just hopping around looking for the golden strategy.